Today on the American Truck Podcast, Twitch got a much-needed feature, Nintendo Switch won't launch with Virtual Console, Overwatch Server browsing is live, Xbox is getting a monthly rental service, and Cities Skylines is getting a mass transit overhaul. Hello and welcome to the American Truck Podcast with Andrew C.
And Jefferson B.
Autobots.
And Freelance Gamer. Ah, yes, I wish we could play that game together, Mike.
They really downgraded.
Mike and I played a co-op game of, what was it, War for Cybertron? Was that it?
Yeah, War.
It was War for Cybertron, and then he was like, oh, I'll buy Fall of Cybertron. And I was like, okay, cool. And then we found out it doesn't have co-op for the story. So.
That's really unfortunate.
Most unfortunate.
Well, turns out, Twitch wants to kind of get into the game sales business. Which makes kind of sense because they're owned by Amazon, and Amazon already can sell games and whatnot, so isn't terribly too hard to get into the game selling business. But basically what is going to happen is if a streamer is playing a game such as, let's say, American Truck Simulator, and it is set up so you can purchase American Truck Simulator on Twitch, it'll actually show up below the streamer box, and just like being able to subscribe to people and follow them, you'll be able to buy games on the stream, and by doing such a thing, the streamer gets a 5% cut. And so it is a new way to also support your favorite streamer if you're interested in purchasing a particular game, and a new way to acquire games. There is apparently going to be a Twitch desktop app which you will use to launch said games, and otherwise your games will launch in the respective launcher for the game. So like if it uses Uplay, then it will launch in Uplay.
Right. Now, what I'm curious about is I'm wondering if games that are available on Steam, if I buy it through this service, can I request the CD key to add to Steam? Because I already have a group, a community.
That's a good question.
I have to second that one just simply because I own a Steam Link. I very proudly own a Steam Link, and I like the idea of having my games available with me on one account wherever I am. You know,
Now,
that being said,
it would be cool if they don't have that, if you could link the two.
that would be
and
cool.
Therefore, play it.
That would be cool. I do that with some Uplay games from time to time, but only so that I can get them over on the Steam Link. What I'm most interested in is I did not realize this was like a full-on platform launch. I thought this was just simply adding a code.
Amazon cart.
Yeah, I thought this was more just like adding a what would you call it? Like a buy-in deal, basically. An incentivization to purchase the game through Amazon's through Amazon.com. So I'm kind of curious what will the Twitch platform itself focus more on streaming? So if I buy a game through Twitch, does that mean that I am now more able to, or more easily able to stream that game to Twitch?
Yeah, it'd probably be the same. It'd be really bad actually, and I'd really be against the idea of them making that. That to me would be very bad.
Well, maybe not necessarily forcing the user, but giving the user options, I think, is an interesting thing. So maybe it doesn't make it the only way, but it just makes it a new way, and maybe a slightly easier way, or easier in other ways. I don't know. This is purely speculation at this point. We're just now kind of hearing about sort of the inklings of what Twitch et al. Are trying to do, and I guess we'll just have to keep an ear to the ground on this story and report back on it later.
Indeed. Supposedly spring is what they're looking at. But
all right.
Twitch has came out with something else new that is already available, and that is that viewers and streamers alike can now change their username if they so choose. So if you changed your persona name or made a Twitch account,
or made a second account.
Yeah. I feel you on that one. Yep, I changed my name and I wanted to have everything unified under iAndrewC, and so I just had to make a whole new Twitch account. But turns out now I could have just changed the name. Not that it matters now. I've already gone through the effort. But yeah, you'll be able to change your username. It's once every 60 days, so you're stuck with whatever you choose for a little while, but nowhere near as long as the indefiniteness that it was before. And when you abandon a name, it will be held for 6 months, so in theory you could switch back. And they didn't say what they're going to do after 6 months, but it does mean it could potentially go away and be re-added to the available name pool at that point, but not officially yet. They still haven't decided quite what's going to happen with that.
Yeah, I do find this thoroughly interesting. Mostly if you're like me and you first picked up your internet username when you were 13, back in the early 2000s when we were all still young and the internet was still very free. But that being said, I think this is a very interesting opportunity, especially if channels want to go under some sort of rebranding with an already known subscriber base. So it's just kind of one of those, like, I'm surprised this didn't happen sooner type of situations, but I'm happy to see it.
Yeah, it really did take quite a long time, and it does bring a few glitches and issues with it because of the name change, depending on how your various stream reward systems like Revlo and whatnot, how they handled users can be a bit broken by this. So if they were using just the storage of usernames, then when you change your name, you lose all of your coins or whatever and your stats and whatnot. So some streamers are mitigating that themselves, as Jeff rams me onto a fence.
As Iandrew C went airborne while trying to knock me off the road.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious, can somebody give me the really quick 30-second TLDR of Revlo and other such services and kind of like what their purpose in the ecosystem is?
Yeah, basically it's a reward system. So the amount of time that you spend in someone's stream, you get more points. The more points you have, usually you can redeem for some kind of thing, which is, priority gameplay. If you're like, if it's a league streamer, you can, like they'll put you to the top of their play queue where they play with viewers and stuff like that. And little insignificant perks in their stream that make you feel better as a viewer and more welcomed.
Gotcha.
So Revlo themselves did say that they are switching their mechanism for reporting views and rewards and whatnot to user IDs, which are static. So they are going to automatically fix that, and the streamer doesn't have to actually fix it themselves. But it's one of those things of I imagine Twitch didn't tell people that this was happening before it took place, so it wasn't like the providers could update their systems.
Yeah, it'll definitely be all hands on deck for the next, I would say probably about 2 weeks or so. It's your typical deployment cycle.
Yeah, they were talking about sometime like within the week or first week or second week of March, they were rolling out the changes. At least Revlo was, but I don't know about anyone else.
So it'll be interesting to see.
Sure will.
Yeah.
But something else that will be interesting is, of course, the Switch launch, which is happening today. If you're watching this on the published date. And we did find out earlier this week here that the Switch was going to launch without the Virtual Console, which is rather unfortunate because a lot of people were looking forward to that. It is still coming. It's just a soon TM type thing. But it is going to be there. And a brief mention here, if you are unlucky like Jefferson B and did not get a pre-order in while it was still available, you will be able to, most likely, depending on how early you feel like waiting in line, you probably can get a Switch on launch day. Looks like at least GameStop, Walmart, and Best Buy have confirmed they will have Switches available on launch day at their midnight launch parties. So if you so choose to get in line, or I guess if you already were in line at this point, because if you wait till now, when you're watching this, you probably can't get them anymore. They probably are sold out.
Yeah. That's going to be kind of the big distinction, is that we are seeing only a very limited number of unreserved consoles that will be going to each individual store. So, I mean, perhaps if you're watching this within like the first couple minutes that it has come out, if you got a GameStop that's like out in the boonies somewhere, maybe give them a holler, see what happens. Because I can only imagine if you've got a place that's like surrounded by woods, or surrounded by old people, or surrounded by people who aren't gamers.
I was just gonna say, what other demographic can you offend?
Surrounded by white people.
There you go.
Then give it a shot. You never know.
Probably under 10, I believe, is what most people were assuming for quantities available. So it's definitely going to be slim picking from that. Otherwise, you're probably going to see a metric poop ton of very overpriced ones sitting up on eBay.
Yes, that does not surprise me. And of course, it's important to note that I do not believe this extends to the special editions. Like there's the Breath of the Wild special edition. It's not a special console, it's more of a bundle pack. So if you are looking to play Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, that might still be an issue.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that either.
I am not super
I think
privy,
there might have been some places that were gonna have, saying that they were gonna have some of the bundle packs, but I would expect if anyone does have those, they're going to be eating even lesser quantities than just a plain Switch.
Yeah, it'll be kind of a crapshoot. But
Yep, pretty
best
much.
of luck to you. May the odds be ever in your favor.
Yep, your best bet was to be in line at midnight.
Yep.
But anyway, just a brief update here on Overwatch. We mentioned a couple episodes ago that there was going to be a server browser added to the game to be able to get better access to custom games and whatnot. And that was in their public test environment for a couple weeks now, and it has rolled out completely live to everyone now. So if you want to be able to customize your Overwatch games, you will be able to do that now going forward.
Very nice.
Apparently, Microsoft has decided that they're not a fan of non-Windows Store apps.
Like apps that are downloaded from other places, like Google
Yeah,
Chrome,
like the developer's
or
website.
Mozilla Firefox,
Yep.
or Steam.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently they're not a fan.
Oh,
Now,
okay.
neither is Apple. So, I mean, they're kind of taking a page out of Apple's playbook here. Basically, they're gonna be putting a nag screen into Windows in their upcoming creator update. And basically, when you try to install an app like Firefox not from the store, they are going to tell you, "Oh, this is not from the store. You might get baddies from it." And then basically anything that's not considered a trusted app or trusted developer is going to throw that screen. It does appear from the preliminary testing, it's not set to be on by default.
Hooray.
But we all know that does not mean that that's going to stay that way forever.
I mean,
very
of course,
good
if it
chance
does
that we
get
will
turned
see
on.
that switch into being a permanently on and must dismiss every time thing, or turn it off yourself.
Or as long as it's not, must go into system settings and hit open this one time. As long as they don't go full Mac on me, I'm okay.
If they are taking a page from Apple's playbook, then we will be able to disable it entirely by default. It reminds me of the early days of UAC. You know, this is kind of just another one of those things.
Right.
Windows Secure Boot is also in, I think, a similar vein. But hopefully we'll see this not be a nag screen anymore, or at least have somebody create an auto clicker button that automatically clicks the "Yes, I accept the charges" button every time.
Well, so that's a beautiful thing. If that is a thing, and someone has an auto clicker and whatnot, there's somebody who helps like 700 people get onto, like, say, WebEx, which is both an application and an add-on,
Mm-hmm.
and that they don't know how to install it right now. I fear for what my, like, once they push that through, what my job will feel like.
Yep, I feel
In
that.
fact, I hope I'm on a different career path at that point.
the majority of IT people in the world right now just let out a big old cringe as a direct result of these actions.
Yeah, I wasn't too fond of it when I saw it. And it's like, if you've seen the Apple one, it's really small box, normal, average size. On the Windows one, it takes up 90% of your screen.
Awesome.
When it tells you, hey, it's not from Windows.
Just in
Store.
case you're an idiot, we're gonna tell you stuff.
We're gonna tell you some stuff really large.
Yep. In case you are a blind idiot.
Yeah, exactly. So, like I said, hopefully that stays off by default and you have to turn it on. Which, I mean, definitely use cases, like you want to put that on your parents' computer, that's fine.
Yeah,
Fine and
I
dandy,
would
but-
also be totally okay with it showing up once and then there being a please disable for all future attempts button.
Nah, that's not gonna happen. You're gonna have to go deep into settings to find it.
Yeah, so long as somebody creates me a PowerShell script, I'm fine.
Alrighty. But something new that's happening here with the Xbox to kind of stay in the Microsoft lane. They're going to be adding the Xbox Game Pass, which will allow you to play 100 Xbox titles for the low price of $10 per month. Some people are referring to it as the Netflix for games, basically following the PlayStation Now model, although adjusting it by a smidge. Turns out their system actually streams the games, so you don't actually need to install it, which means you can go from playing one game to another very quickly. The Xbox version is going to operate a little differently in that they will be installed fully, just like a regular game that you've purchased would be. And it is a bit more limited in available titles currently. There's about 350 more titles on the PlayStation version. So, but the titles do differ. I mean, there are exclusive titles on both sides, so you may not be able to get a particular game that you want to play on PlayStation Now, like the entire Halo series.
I think it's gonna be interesting how, like, what is, like, 100 games sounds like a good bit, and might be a good bit, but if it's a bunch of, like, smaller or less popular or not nearly not as iconic games, I can't really see much merit to this. Full disclosure, I do not currently own an Xbox One, nor do I have any intentions to. That being said, I like the idea of being able to pay to play the entire Halo franchise for $10 a month. You know, if that lasts me 2 to 3 months, that was $30 well spent.
And a lot cheaper than if you bought all the games.
Exactamundo. And that's just the Halo's franchise.
Right. If you pick up anything else in there, you're getting even more money's worth. So it's definitely, I mean, I can see the purpose of it, and it'll be interesting to see what really transpires with it. But
right.
It is going to be coming in the spring, and they did say that the game inventory will kind of rotate a little bit, so it's not going to be the same 100 games always. And so there is a potential for some other good games that you want to play that aren't available today might be available in a month in the future. So that may make it a little better until they take the game that you want to play off.
That at least keeps it interesting, though, for reoccurring subscribers. Now, what I'm kind of interested in also is the fact that this is in addition to Xbox Live.
Yeah.
So this is an additional charge that you'll have to pay on top of. I don't even know how much Xbox Live costs these days.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's an interesting setup. So we'll see. I'd like it if there was an explorable database that we could peruse through to see what it all is in this 100 game catalog. But beggars
Not
can't be
quite
choosers.
there yet.
Nope.
Due time. I'm sure
In
we
due
will
time.
have something like that. But something else that's coming in due time, the Cities Skylines Mass Transit DLC has been announced. It's going to add ferries, blimps, cable cars, monorails, and a new mass transit hub. All things that will add some different ways that we can manage traffic in terribleness, because Cities Skylines is the traffic simulator, basically. All things that, I mean, I watched the little teaser trailer they made, and I don't know when I would use cable cars. They literally look like you're supposed to use them for a ski course that you don't, like for skiing, and there's nothing that you can do with skiing on mountains and stuff. So I don't know what I'm going to use them for, but I'm sure I will build some. And as always, there is a free update that will go with it. It's going to bring the ability to name roads, and the very, very important, I can't believe this has never been added before, update of emergency vehicles will now pass regular pedestrian cars. Which you would think they'd already do that, but they don't.
I'm sure reading the changelog for Cities Skylines is going to be just fascinating.
Oh, I'm sure it will be. It's also going to add a couple new road types, some new bridges, bridge styles and whatnot, and it's also going to add canals.
So you can schlep logs down the way?
Probably not. It's probably more like Venice-style canals where guys with boats and whatnot go down them, if I had to guess. We will find out sometime this year. All they did was kind of put a "it's coming" date on it, so who knows when it'll come out. But definitely something to look forward to. And yeah, so there's that.
Very cool.
All right, well, hope you guys managed to get yourself a Switch today. If not, I'm sure there'll be plenty of coverage online with the glorious Switch action. But if you like this video, make sure you hit that like button down below. Perhaps also hit the subscribe button. Maybe also leave a comment down below. And we will see you guys in the next one.
Also, you should switch over to one of our other videos.